to welcome you all here tonight for this press conference as it relates to Benton Harbor High School. I'm Renaldo Tripplett, and I will be serving as the Master of Ceremonies for this evening's press conference. At this time, we will have Pastor Dwayne Seeds to come and give the invocation.
Do me a favor, every head bowed. If you would touch somebody sitting next to you or standing next to you for the power of unity, and that's why we're here today. If you didn't want to touch him, you shouldn't have sat next to him. Gracious God, our Father, we thank you tonight for your loving kindness, your tender mercy. We thank you that you're God, and without you there is no other. We pray tonight for our schools. We've came tonight, God, to represent that which our city represents. And we thank you tonight that there's going to be wisdom, there's going to be peace, there's going to be understanding. And God, we thank you for your word that says no weapon that is formed against us shall prosper. And every tongue that rises up against us in judgment, we condemn it right now. In the name of Jesus, we thank you that you're in control, God. This is not tonight about Church of God in Christ. It's not about apostolic. It's not about Baptist. It's that you get the glory tonight. Now, God, you be glorified in this meeting tonight, and we're going to give your name glory and honor. In Jesus' name we pray. Every glad heart, if you would, just say amen.
Amen. The mic is a little squeaky. With protocol having been established, we're going to get ready to keep it moving because we do want to hear from our Honorable Mayor who has called this press conference. But I want to start off with this. Of all the days we think of most, the days at Harbor High we toast and lift our voice in joyous song to save the school we've loved so long. Oh, for thy life and love we pray, and sing thy glory on this day, and may our happiness live long. Oh, Harbor High, this is our song. Put your hands together for the Tigers in here. At this time, without further ado, I'd like to introduce an educator of Get Up presentation video, Miss Traci Burton.
Before I get started, I would like everyone to face the display screen so we can watch the video. Over here as well.
House lights, please.
believe. I believe.
Okay.
Hey.
Gotta focus, gotta get it in. This a real world, this is not pretend. Gotta move forward even though they say this.
Get your education now and get your money later.
Gotta get there, ain't no present action. Cause it look, I ain't got no passion. I be moving fast like a speed racer. Like an essay, I'm surrounded by paper. Staying in school, even though it's hard. Cause it's hard to ever finish if you never start. Even if I never ever make it, I know I got my education.
City, we gon' make it BH education. We gon' make it BH education.
My city, we gon' make it BH education. Get up and put your hands in the air. You gotta get up and put your hands in the air. Say I believe, I believe, I believe,
I believe.
I believe,
I believe.
I believe.
I believe. I believe.
You cannot take me about my city. Education is the goal now.
Get up and put your hands in the air. You gotta get up and put your hands in the air. Say I believe,
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
My name is Traci Burton, and I hold many titles, but the title that I'm most proud to hold is Education Advocate. As you saw from the video, when we create spaces for our youth, they tell the truth, and they let us know they create the blueprint for the future. And what I want everybody to do that have these Save Our School signs, just as I scratched out Save, we should scratch out Save. That's right. Because Save indicates that we are damsels in distress, and we are not. We are strong, we are powerful, we are educated, we are brilliant. Support puts it on us as everyday people to make a difference. I'm just an everyday person who had it in my heart to help you. I'm not rich, I just care. So the one thing that you can do today as an action step, because I believe in action steps, if you have a Facebook, go to the Peace for Life page, like that page, share the page, share this Get Up video with the hashtag Whitmer Get Up, because she needs to get up. So, yeah, we don't need anyone to save us. We need everybody to support us. So thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. We're going to keep it moving because there's a lot to be said. At this time, I'd like to present a senior at Benton Harbor High School who also is our current Mr. Benton Harbor, Mr. Gregory Hill.
Good evening, everyone. As he said, I'm Gregory Hill, Jr., Mr. Benton Harbor 2019, and the current reigning homecoming king from Benton Harbor High School. I speak on behalf of me and Miss Benton Harbor 2019, Crystal Williams, who is sick and is absent today. When I say, as students of Benton Harbor High School, we all deserve a fair education. We deserve to be able to wake up every morning and go to school only worrying about acing an algebra test or what type of food they have in the lunchroom. We should not have to worry about not having a school to come to next year or next month. Let media outlets tell it. As students, we deserve to be able to wake up knowing we're going to school learning the same thing that someone else is learning in another district. And that's not what I've endured my years of high school because of poor decisions made by other people. I'm suffering as a student. When I should be relaxing and studying, my mind is elsewhere because the fate of my school is uncertain, and that's just not fair to me and many other students. Let's all rally together as a city and a community and support Benton Harbor Area School. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. At this time, I would like to present the president of the Benton Harbor High School class of 2019, Quincy Sulton.
How's everybody doing? My name is Tripplett. I am Quincy Sulton, 2019 class president. I'm also 2018 Benton Harbor's Youth of the Year and State of Michigan Youth of the Year. Since I've been in second grade, I've heard every year that my school was going to shut down. Second grade. I'm a senior now. That's a decade. And I'm late. I'm just now finding out recently with all the Facebook posts that this has been going on way longer before me, that we have been threatened. And this is not okay. We are supposed to be taking exams as seniors, get ready to leave school, and why are we hearing that our school is going to shut down? How are we supposed to focus on our scores? Testing high, how are we supposed to focus? And I understand with me being a senior that I'm at the end of my road, it's time for me to go off, but this isn't about me.
Yeah, that's right.
This is a bigger picture. We have new generations coming every day. I have nieces and nephews. I'm pretty sure some people have little brothers. You guys have kids here. I worked at the Boys and Girls Club. Your kids are my kids.
That's right.
So this is a time that we all need to come together, rally together, and stand with each other, no matter where you stand. If you are against this, we are on the same team. And we need to come together and make sure that our kids will have a place to go with a book bag, with a desk, with a book, with a teacher next year.
Thank you, Quincy. Next we have Coach Jennings, the varsity men's baseball player, Justin.
You skip Carlton.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Carlos Johnson, Jr. I didn't recognize the name because I just know Scooby. Varsity basketball, Benton Harbor High School.
Speak up.
Hi, I'm Carlos. Good afternoon. I'm here to represent the varsity basketball team at Benton Harbor High School and as a student. I ask that you all support and keep our school alive because the heart of our community. We need to continue the legacy of our community and hope that you all will support us. Today I come as you as a student, not an athlete first. I've been dreaming to go to Benton Harbor High School and I always wanted to play for my coach Darwin. And now that there's like a whole lot of rumors saying that the schools might be closed after me, I mean, it is after me, but it's still the youth. I have nephews and nieces that always want to always go to Benton Harbor High School.
That's right.
So I come to you as support and ask for your help. Thanks.
Next we have Coach Danny Jennings, the varsity men's baseball player, Justin.
I'm a function without the mic, if y'all don't mind. I have a very loud mouth.
The people who know me and have been around, am I speaking loud enough for the recording? No. All right, I'm sorry.
All right, I was going to function without the mic, but I'm sorry. All right, so we'll get right into it. Royal leaders and servants of the original mankind, rich in culture, history, and community, dismantled by a process of being split up and displaced. Remove you from home put you in the custody of people you don't know, can't control, can't understand you, and won't give you any access to the keys to success. Yet they'll gain monetarily and reserve the right to limit any of your upward mobility due to injustice against you benefiting them. Sound familiar? That's slavery. Remove the high, leave K through 8. We're supposed to believe that that idea is great, so you control our fate. I can't relate to removing a head for the body to stay. So let me get this straight. They say that none of our third graders can read, but keep that school open, it'll help you achieve. Don't believe what you read. Printing our juniors aren't ready for college. When I coached the smartest junior in the area, his friends called him knowledge. He's not college ready, yet he takes college classes now. Where did they get this information and who's passing it around? It's amazing how ill-prepared our students are viewed, yet every year we're across the country graduating from school. Schools of higher ed conquering the mightiest of feats. That's just a part of public schools that was offered to me. Our pillar, centerpiece, tiger pride of them all, is represented on Colfax. Take a walk down those halls. The strength from the struggle of people helping us through, triumphant in life because people believed in you. It's easy to become a number caught up in dollars and cents. You're the problem for this, and our kids just bottle it in. See, as a baseball guy, I studied the history of the Negro Leagues and integration. Take a walk with me for a second. When the Dodgers signed Jackie Robinson, it broke one barrier, but it began the destruction of something else. The white major leagues began signing more Negro Leagues players, but were selective in who they chose. School of choice. Then once they opened the doors and took the best players and the stars from the Negro Leagues, they left the Negro Leagues in shambles because the league couldn't sustain itself. Now without a high-end goal that represents your culture and community, high school, it discourages many from mass participation at the grassroots level, elementary. Add the dynamic of the majors, school of choice, reserving the right to put a cap on how many they'll allow, what they'll tolerate, and how many screw-ups will get you removed. Provides an environment of limitations. The great Negro League player with the excellent attitude, well-mannered, yes man, played a nice long career in the majors after integration. But what about that player that straddles the line? That marginal guy who has dealt with some trauma, who has been challenged by life on several fronts regularly, who needs an extra hug and a second or third chance. Is there a place for him? Well, in our district, we have the high performers who do what they need, what they're supposed to do, and what they're asked. Then we have the high flyers who can be the polar opposite, who are going to struggle regardless. But then there's that middle group that I just described who might slip through the cracks if not nurtured properly. Who will be able to handle when Big Brother is shot? Where can kids lean when cops have arrested their mom? Pops without a job. Life for an urban child will get hard. We pick up the pieces where others might leave on the ground. So believe it or not, the setup is to leave us with nothing but grieving and suffering. Trust me, we can see through the buffering. You're trying to destroy us, run us out of our town. But tiger pride, we refuse to lay on the ground. Our message is profound. Keep us open. We speak life to the hopeless who just didn't know that they were tokens, who needed Ben Harbor to provoke them to be as great as their greatest, displaying their faces all over the land, fulfilling their mission, because we won't ever dismiss them. We just need you to listen.
Next we have Coach Kenneth Jackson, the varsity women's basketball. I don't see him. Okay. Girls. Lady Tigers. All right.
How you doing? My name is Kenny Jackson. I've been back here coaching probably about 7 to 8 years now. And when it flashed across the screen that my high school, my alma mater, might close was probably one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard before in my life. And some of the verbiage that went with it was, third graders can't do this, juniors not on track. But I'll tell you this, probably about a month ago, I went down to Central State of Ohio and visited one of our former students named Willie Roberson. He just got awarded a full academic scholarship at Central State of Ohio, so don't tell me that we don't have good kids here at Now, a lot of other things that go with that is you have to push that back years and years and years, okay? You have to push it back to lack of economics in the city. Why is it that just 1 mile away, the average income is $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year, but over here the average income is 11? You tell me, why is that? That doesn't make sense. You know, years ago, they were moving out jobs from around here. Everybody heard of Clark Equipment, you know, Benton, Cotton, all those jobs, and you replace those jobs with minimum wage jobs. That's what happens to the city, okay? You take out standards of discipline, which was laid down years and years ago because we knew, well, our parents knew, that if we didn't have disciplined kids, they just may end up shot. They may end up in some kind of trouble that we couldn't get them out of. So then we kept them straight on discipline. Well, they kept us straight. Okay, so you remove that, you then put another system to say you can't touch the kids. And then you empower the kids to act like idiots wherever they go, and now we can't control it. And guess what happens when somebody step up to control it? Then you got a case. And you tell me why is that? You know, I'm just here to say this. I'm proud of the students here. I'm proud of the work that the teachers put in. And all I can say is go Tigers, and do not let that school close. Please don't. I'm praying, do not let the school close.
Go Tigers!
Thank you. Elnora Gavin, Peace for Life. Elnora Gavin, Peace for Life. Are you getting this together? Okay. You want the mic from there?
Thank you. I apologize. Have some health issues. But I don't want to be here. I didn't want to be in a space where they are seriously considering closing our schools. But I can't say that I didn't see it. I've seen the threats. And I am a parent with a student who just graduated last year. And that was slanderous what was said about those students. And then I have another child coming into first grade. And my child will be in Benton Harbor area schools, period. There's no doubt about it for me. We keep coming to this place and in this space because of policies. We do not have bad kids. We do not have bad teachers. We have bad policy. And if we do not change the laws, then we will be right back here again. The policies are misinformed, and I am so excited that we have a school board that said no this time. They have been bullied over and over again and have been under state watch for 20 years. I don't care what you say. I have the documentation. Since Engler, who is a charter school advocate. Okay, and so this is strategically happening, and there's no coincidence that it's happening to black schools across this state. This is not just Benton Harbor area schools. Detroit has lost over 100 schools. You go to the website and it says there was a school there. That needs to stop. Now with Benton Harbor, we need to say no more. And so I am very proud that this school board, through the efforts of the Peace for Life organization, the Youth Ambassador Student Organization from Benton Harbor High School, which they say that they're incompetent. But we had 8 students speak before the school board and ask them to support our Fresh Start resolution asking Governor Whitmer to forgive the debt because of all of the policies that's supporting the downfall of our district. What you see are stories in spite of. Imagine if they stopped writing bad policies, what is possible for our children. And it's not me. Somebody will look at me and say, oh, that's a black girl, she's just making excuses. There are people who have studied us from Wayne State University, Western Michigan University, all over. They know what's going on and they don't look like me. There's documentation now. So now we should no longer suffer from other people's ignorance. It is time for policymakers to be responsible. And I'm glad that we're all standing together. So there's a Fresh Start resolution on Governor Whitmer's desk. And so respectfully, we need her to take a look at it because it was inspired by students and parents of this community. But unfortunately, we need your support as well, right? We need you to also say that we support the Fresh Start resolution. And so it's important for us to see which organizations are standing with our children and which ones have been plotting against our children. And so we're going to make a list. If you say you love us, then show us. You need to mimic that Fresh Start resolution or write a letter in support of the Fresh Start resolution that was passed by our school board, or you need to post on your public site, we are in support of Benton Harbor area schools Fresh Start resolution, because we keep coming here if we don't change the laws. I need us to understand that. And not only that, we as a people need to read the Fresh Start resolution so that we can talk intelligently with our representatives about how they need to represent us. Because I called the representative to ask, what's happening, what are your thoughts? And they gave me those faulty facts. Those facts were not facts, those were alternative facts about our kids. And if your representation of us is to spew those facts every time somebody calls, then you're misrepresenting us. And you had a college student in your office. I'm sorry, you had a high school student heading for Stanford in your office, so you had physical proof knowing that that wasn't true about our kids. Okay. I want you to understand that. They know it's not true about our kids. And so, how do you get to that Fresh Start resolution? How do you get to reading that? How do you stay connected to Peace for Life Youth Ambassador so that you can stay connected with the kids? You go to Facebook and you look up Peace, the number 4, Life, BH. Peace, the number 4, Life, BH. Okay? You hit like, and all of the updates are going to be on this page. All of the representatives' phone numbers are going to be on this page. 7 things that we can do right now to support our schools are going to be on this page. And I believe that Traci already spoke about sharing the video. Is that correct? Yeah. So we need to do that as well. But underneath that video, there is another video. Okay, and that video speaks to something very, very important. And Trooper Burton, Reverend Burton, is going to give us some insight on that as well. But I don't think he should. Okay, all right. Well, thank you.
At this time, we'll have Pastor Charles Williams, National Action Network in the state of Michigan.
Go Tigers!
Go Tigers!
Go Tigers!
Go Tigers!
Go Tigers!
Go Tigers!
Some Tiger pride in the house?
Yeah!
I don't know about this. We have some Tiger pride in the house.
Yeah!
No justice.
No.
No justice.
No.
No justice.
No.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
My name is Reverend Charles Williams II. I am the president of the Michigan chapter of the National Action Network. I bring you greetings from our national president, who was the Reverend Al Sharpton. Him and myself have been following this issue, and we were invited in by the local members of the community here. And I want you to know, and he wanted me to let you know, that National Action Network, Reverend Sharpton, and Reverend Charles Williams, we 100% in this, and we're going to fight this to the very end.
Amen.
There is a question. Question is, Reverend Williams, you from Detroit, Reverend Sharpton from New York. Why would we be here? Tiffany Tilly, our State Board of Education Director, one of our State Board of Education Trustees is here. Pam Pugh, as well as Danny Baxter from Wayne County Executive Office, and Reverend Bullock. We're from Wayne County. But here's the issue. Mary Waters, former state representative. But here's the issue. The issue is when we started to fight for emergency management happened right here in Benton Harbor. Sure did. Benton Harbor shocked the world.
Yes, we did.
All you got to do is turn the microphone down. Benton Harbor shocked the world. And when they shocked the world, we began a movement, Public Act 4, turning the tide around public education. Turning the tide around emergency management. Now here we are. We not stupid. We know what you're doing in Benton Harbor, because we know what happens in Benton Harbor is only a test case for what they're going to do in Pontiac, what they're going to do in Flint, what they're going to do in Detroit. Let's make it very clear here. 1960, Brown v. Board of Education, desegregated schools across America. When those schools got desegregated, black folks walked into Benton Harbor High School, never had the opportunity to go into Benton Harbor. Now, here we are, 50 years later, because they can't get access to the property, they can't get access to the school. They decide that they want to take what we have built, take what we have held on to, and move us out. What make you think that we trust you to educate our kids? Here we are. You left Benton Harbor. You left Detroit. You left Flint, Michigan. You left Pontiac. And as far as I'm concerned, Governor Whitmer, you can take your policies and send them straight to hell. That's all right. I was invited, so I say what I want to say. Because it don't matter to me whether you a Democrat or Republican. When you wrong, you wrong. And Governor Whitmer, we're here to tell you today, you're wrong. We coming back. We fighting this with you. We 100% in. I do not want to see our black children dispersed throughout this county and have to face teachers who don't give a damn about them.
Next we have Marilyn Ross-Golden, educator.
Good evening. Good evening. I don't know if I'm able to follow this gentleman, but I'm going to do the best I can. Because tonight it's not about me. It's about my babies. To the Honorable Mayor Mohammed, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to speak tonight. To all the city's officials, and last but not least, to the beautiful rainbow of people from the city of Benton Harbor. As Mr. Tripplett stated, I am Marilyn Ross-Golden. I am a resident of Benton Harbor. I am a wife, a mother, and in less than 2 weeks, I would have spent 33 years teaching. But what I'm most happy about tonight, the last 31 consecutive years I have spent at Benton Harbor High School. Okay, now. I stand here tonight deeply troubled about a different array of things. In particular, I'm deeply troubled by the word deemed as it relates to our children of Benton Harbor area schools. You see, the word deemed means to form an opinion, to judge, and to estimate. According to the officials from the governor's office and their team, 0. That means nothing, folks. Correct. They deemed that 0 of our 11th graders for the last 5 years are not college ready. 0, folks, for the last 5 years. Where Governor Whitmer, I stand looking in your face tonight. I'm not for certain what data you use for those years that you deemed that my kids was not college ready. But I have some data for you that is real data, is unbiased, and it's reliable. I respectfully ask you, Governor, and your team, that you would ask your people that they gather, as they profile data, check with Michigan top universities. Okay, come on now. Check with the 2-year schools in the state of Michigan. In addition, send your team all over the country to some of the historically black colleges and universities. And you will find those juniors for the last 5 years that you have been not college ready. And you know what? I wish I had time tonight to call all of their names, but y'all gonna recognize some of them. Sideria Moss, Willie Roberson, Ushawn Jennings Jr., Jasmineika Newburn, Stacy Pullen, Kaiser Gunzerzek, DeMarco James Jr., Willie Wilson Jr., Carlos Henderson Jr., Elijah Baxter. I can't name everybody, but there's so many that are in college, and some of those people that they deem unfit have graduated. Hands off Benton Harbor High School, Governor Whitmer. Oh, Governor, how I wish you would have attended the 2019 senior convocation this morning at Benton Harbor High School. Those same juniors that you deem unfit and unready, they collectively received thousands of dollars in scholarship this morning to go to college. You know, I am reminded before I go to my seat, although the mayor told me I can talk as long as I wanted to. But before I go to my seat, I am reminded, and this is a lesson that I teach my African American history students, because many folk want our kids to only know about slavery. Okay? I don't teach slavery because they know slavery. This is one lesson that I teach my children, and that is about the Conference of Berlin, 1884-1885.
Talk about it.
It was the Europeans came across the Mediterranean Sea, and they came, of course, immediately they had the outskirts of Africa wrapped up, but they was trying to figure out how to get to the interior of Africa. So in 1884-1885, there was a Conference of Berlin, and these European countries, they said they want to freely decide how they was going to divide Africa. What about last Thursday? That meeting that was here in Benton Harbor to divide our children and send them all across this county. It's not going to happen. Hands up at Harvard. And the last and long effect, we got to think about it. This happens, what is the long effect of our children being spread all over this county? Hands off Whitmer, off of Benton Harbor High School. And the only nation that stood up in Africa and fought off the Europeans, it was two. And that was Ethiopia and Liberia. So Benton Harbor, who are we going to be? Ethiopia or who? Liberia. All right, and finally, Governor, and your team. Finally, we respectfully, because we respect the office of the governor of the state of Michigan, we respectfully ask that you come to our place and we meet Benton Harbor High School and sit at the table where you can get some real data, okay? Get all the facts and factors from our data profiles, not what somebody have told you. Thank you, and hands off Benton Harbor High
School. Thank you. I'm the next person on program. I'm going to introduce myself to you. My name is Renaldo Tripplett. I'm the former principal of Benton Harbor High School. I had the opportunity to serve in that capacity approximately 6 months before I was harassed out of my position with false information. But I know the data. I don't care what you say. And I'm not going to tell you about it tonight because as I look around this room, the only faces that I see in this room, and I don't mean any disrespect to anybody, is my kids. Okay. But I do want to say to the class of 2019, who are my freshmen, that I know that it was strategically done that in the 9th grade, in your core subject, you had certified teachers. Well, right. All of the efforts and all of my efforts and all of our efforts was towards you all. I asked about, I said, what does this 38 stand for? What does this 38 mean? I said, wow, those were the 38 that were supposed to be dual enrolled and graduating this year with their associate's degree. Because the plan had been put in place for the freshmen to have at least 40% of their students dually enrolled. We had 15 students in 2016 who were dually enrolled, and they dropped it. We had people to come in. When you think about the Michigan Department of Education and the Department of Treasury, as an educator, I've been an educator all of my life, and I know y'all know Renaldo from Benton Harbor. Y'all know a little bit about Renaldo. Some things y'all know, some things y'all don't, because if you to know it, you have to be with me, you know. That's a whole different conversation for you to really know. But we as a community, we can dog each other better than anybody else. We can dog each other than anybody else, but I'm telling you, all of that data, what has happened to these kids, when they walked me out of that building, I got a call, and I want to give you this information at this opportunity. I was on my spring break. I got a call from the then superintendent who had a passenger in her car. She can bear witness. She called me 6 months into my job, and she told me that the state said you can no longer be the principal at Benton Harbor High School. I said, why? What do you mean? She said, you just can't. They said you can't do it. I said, who's they? Never been evaluated. Never been evaluated. I said to the superintendent, well, that's not what the Lord told me to do. I'm sorry, I love the Lord. I said, that's not what he told me to do. I said, because you guys have moved me to 2 or 3 different buildings, and in order for us to be able to, in order for me to be able to show my leadership, I have to be in a place for at least 4 years. Right. She said, well, I was in there fighting for you. And they told me that you can be an assistant superintendent of Benton Harbor Schools over family and community relations, and you will have a position for $102,000. And I said, that's not what the Lord told me to do. She said, you have until Tuesday at 5 o'clock to give me your decision, and I will call you back. Tuesday at 5 o'clock on the dot, she called me, and she said, what's your decision? I said, that's not what the Lord told me. She said, then you're on your own. And she hung up the phone. I have a witness from Benton Harbor who heard this entire conversation. 2 weeks later, there were 27 allegations. 27 allegations. I came in to speak, and there was people sitting on the side, and they walked me in my office, and I thought they were coming to meet me. And he said, if anybody gonna get God, I'm the one that can do it. I didn't know what was going on. I had cohorts. Y'all gotta stop believing this stuff, what they're saying about this data. Yes, sir. It's wrong. There are mitigating variables that go along with this data. 38 kids. Now 100. All of a sudden, we cannot let them do this to our kids. They came in and went in our counselor's office. They dismantled our credit recovery program. They closed our National Honor Society down. That's what they did from the Michigan Department of Education and the Department of Treasury. They walked in that building several days and walked right past my office and never said a word, and they were sitting in my counselor's office. They threatened one of the most powerful counselors in the world, and she was white. Because you said that I said that white people can't teach African American children. And the only teacher that I ever gave a highly effective evaluation, her name was Jennifer Musin. Amen. And she was a powerful math instructor who we lost. She was powerful. And these kids right here. So I want to put it out in the news media today. It ain't about me. Because God is taking care of me. Ever since they walked me out of that building. But these kids right here, 2019, I didn't get to meet 2020 and 21, but 2019, y'all hold your heads up high. Y'all hold your heads up high. From Morton Montessori, from Fairbanks ACA, we sent them the best 8th graders that we had. They had good scores. And they destroyed them. But I want to say to you, and I'm going to close, we're from Benton Harbor.
Couldn't be prouder.
Couldn't be prouder. At this time, we'll have Dr. Carlton Lynch, the Reverence Missionary Baptist Church.
Can we just give the mayor a hand clap for gathering us all together tonight? I interviewed yesterday with Louise with our local paper, and I want to say and give a message to the media because it's very important how this story goes out after we leave here. And I said to her very simple, you don't have to write anything I say. All you have to do is to remind us what the governor said before she was elected. She came to this city and she vowed to work with Benton Harbor area schools. There's a 12-page presentation that she made, and I didn't want to make this an emotional appeal tonight, but for some people, you may not know what she said. And so we've taken our time today in our office to print up 100 copies of that 12-page document of the platform. So if she, in fact, is not doing what that platform suggests, then we must have to ask her the question, did she use the black vote to become the governor of Michigan? Those are the questions that we want to ask. I enjoyed everything that was spoken tonight, the poems, I enjoyed the history lessons, but now we want the media to call her on her own platform. That's what we need. That's exactly what we need. We need you all to look in these cameras and ask her, did you use this community? Did you use this vote? In these packets, you'll find that she says one of her agendas was to help stabilize the financial accountability. So which that means is you already knew the financial disparity that we were already in before you went and ran for office. As of today, our governor has been in office for 151 days. The first 100 days is critical to any political candidate. The question is, was this already in the scheme? Was it already in the plot? Was it already in the flow of things for this to happen? One of the things that I've looked up about our governor now, that her previous employment, she is a prosecutor. Prosecutors know laws, they know legislation, and also prosecutors know how to make deals. So the question that we ask from Benton Harbor, Michigan tonight, who have you made a deal with to close down our schools? Who did you cut a deal with in order to send a proposal to our community suggesting to take it or leave it? And I commend everyone in Benton Harbor tonight. I'm not from here, but I understand how y'all get down. Listen, we leave it. The school stays, but we want your record to be called on the carpet. We want a governor that's integral. We want a governor that shows good character, that has values, and most of all, keep their word. And if she believes, watch this, by counting out Benton Harbor, it's very evident that she can't count either. We're saying tonight from this platform that Benton Harbor School is stays.
At this time, we have Reverend David Bullock, Change Agent Consortium. When I say hands off, say our schools. Hands off. Hands off. Hands off. When I say hands up, say our schools. Hands off. Hands off. Hands off. When I say hands off, you say now. Hands up. Hands up. Hands up. Hands up. Let me hear you make some noise. Shut Whitmer down. What? Shut Whitmer down. What? Shut Whitmer down. What? Shut Whitmer down. I ain't hear nobody. Shut Whitmer down. What? Shut Whitmer down. What? Shut Whitmer down. Let me hear you make some noise in this building right now. My name is David Bullock. My name is David Bullock. I'm here from the city of Detroit. Change Agent Consortium, Greater St. Matthew Baptist Church. You can put another battery in that mic so we can all hear the mayor of this fair city. Let's give our mayor a hand. We appreciate his leadership. We appreciate all elected officials, all teachers, all parents, all students, all precinct delegates, all activists, all freedom fighters, all pastors, all intellectual geniuses, everybody that had enough courage to pause tonight
and Miss Mackinac and come to Benton Harbor City Council chambers. We appreciate you tonight. Make some noise for yourself tonight. Now the one thing about press conferences, they're either too long or too short. This is more like a press conference, pep rally, turn up the volume, get everybody on the same page. And having been to Benton Harbor before, I'm trying to tell you nobody does it better than Benton Harbor. I love Flint, Pontiac, Highland Park, Inkster, Ecorse, and Detroit. But when you want to throw down in Michigan, you got to come to Benton Harbor. I'm not going to be long, but I'm going to say my piece because I got a couple of pieces that I want to say. Number one, everybody always underestimates the underdog. And there's something about municipalities that may have small voting rolls that allows elected officials to come and make promises and promise the world and feel like they don't have to deliver. Because maybe in a distressed community where there aren't a lot of active registered voters, they can somehow act like either the community was apathetic or there was not enough internal action to activate the goodwill that was expressed simply by the governor coming to Benton Harbor. Let me remind you, this is not a monarchy. Let me remind you that this is not Great Britain. Let me remind you that this is Michigan, the United States of America. We elect our elected officials. And I always remind elected officials that the president is not a king. The governor is not a queen. And while we do respect the office, the person is just another person like any other person in Benton Harbor. And it does not matter how many were a part of the election process. Her job, your right, her duty is to do her best by all of Michigan, not just Detroit, Michigan, or Lansing, Michigan, or corporate Michigan. Somebody will say that's right. Because see, there's a victimology game going on, and the game goes like this. Let's victimize the victim and blame those who are subject to cruel and unusual practices. And by the time we shake off our own internalized white supremacy, she'll be down the road and the school will be closed. So somebody said, we are not going to let Governor Whitmer victimize the victim. We are not going to let Governor Whitmer victimize the victim. Let me ask you this question. If GM was going to be closed down, would the governor go to Mackinac or be meeting with GM? If Chrysler was having some financial trouble, would the governor be at Mackinac or would she be meeting with Chrysler? Now, it may seem radical and strange to you, but the truth of the matter is this. There is something very disrespectful about a governor who did not make it priority number one to come to Benton Harbor and work out how she was going to save a community that wants to keep its schools. I say save a community that wants to keep its schools, because how can you save a city and kill the schools? If you go to Highland Park, Michigan, right now, the state of Michigan closed the high school. The high school was demolished 6 months later. Now there are 2 charter schools in Highland Park, Michigan. And now the ACLU reminded us that students in Highland Park upped the ante on the state of Michigan, and the state of Michigan told the entire state that no child in the state of Michigan has a right to read. Now I'm trying to figure this out, Benton Harbor. You want to fix the damn roads, but you don't want to help the damn people. I'm trying to figure this out. It's a pothole. It's a pothole. Y'all ain't hearing what I'm saying. If you can fundraise for a pothole, if you can find funding for a pothole, if you can build your whole administration success on what you're going to do 2 streets, then how you going to look past the people that have to walk over? Don't talk to me about structural debt. We bailed out the banks. Come on now. We bailed out Wall Street. We bailed out automotive companies. We bailed out corporations. Why? Because they had a structural deficit. So you're trying to tell me potholes and stakeholders and corporations and banks are more valuable than the community that is Benton Harbor. Somebody say, not on our watch. I got to close with this because I know somebody's getting mad. And the only thing I do better than talk is defend myself. I love this room tonight. We've been to Benton Harbor, we've been to Flint, we've been all over the country. Same problems. Shuttering public education, opening up opportunities for charter schools that may or may not be proven in their curriculum development. We've seen local control being taken. We've seen self-determination being demonized. But I love this room tonight. Because you got teachers in this room. You got coaches in this room. You got pastors in this room. You got parents in this room. You got elected officials in this room. You got students in this room. And the one thing they always want to say about our community is that we don't care about schools and education. But somebody say that's not true. Now you weren't there in 1954. You weren't there in 1963 in D.C. You weren't there in 1972 when Black Power got it on and people started putting their fist in the air. You weren't there in the 1980s when we told Jesse to run. You weren't there in 2000 when Al Sharpton did only what he could do by pushing the envelope on poverty and urban policy and the kinds of conversations that we needed to shape an electoral politics that worked not just for the people at the top but the people at the bottom. But I'm here to say it's 2019 and we here right now. It's going to take more than a tweet though. It's going to take more than one Facebook post. Don't like the page and share the YouTube video. But it's going to take more than a YouTube video. You're going to have to call the governor's office. You're going to have to tie up the phone lines. You're going to have to send email after email. You're going to have to call from different numbers. Y'all know how to call from different numbers. Today is not the end of a movement. Today is the beginning of a movement. And if I steal your car, there are consequences. If I take your job, there are consequences. If I rob you of your woman or your man, you got a problem with me. So don't let the governor steal your schools and destroy your community without showing her that there are consequences for messing with people in Benton Harbor. And y'all got help from all over the state of Maryland. And no justice. No peace.
Now, I do want to say to Pastor, before we get ready to bring our city manager, and you know, you say that they haven't been down here to visit, but it's on some of these streets, they're not potholes, there's some little graves. I don't know what happened to the other places, and then how we got some little graves over there. You go down, we got graves over there. But I'm going to introduce the city manager, Darwin Rossi.
Brother Tripplett. I had a conversation with my mother about 3 weeks ago, and this is what coming up on her 60th class reunion, 1959, graduate. 1969, my cousin Lee Anthony Taylor graduated from Benton Harbor High School. 1979, my cousin Ricky Anderson, who happens to be Steve Harvey's attorney, graduated from Benton Harbor High School. 1989, my brother, alcohol, tobacco, firearm resident agent in charge of Tennessee and Alabama, graduated from Benton Harbor. And in 2019, my sons graduated from Benton Harbor High School. I've taken kids all over this community, this country, Quincy, Carlos. We got a story about a Mexican thing. But anyway, and to just have the thought, I was talking to my brother Marcus to say, we said, hey man, it's unconscionable to say there will be no more Benton Harbor High School. It is unfathomable. This community deserves better. The governor needs to see this outpour from now on. We cannot stop the momentum. We can't care who gets the credit. And we need to bring everybody who can come and is able to the table. Because they need to know that we will not let our schools go. Like I said, whatever needs to be done, I can push from behind. I don't need credit. But at the end of the day, I want to see that the job gets done. So appreciate everybody. And again, let's pack it out. If we have to go to Lansing, we'll make sure everybody gets there. But that's what we need to do. Thank you.
I want to say too, this June, my father will be celebrating, his name is Reginald Smith Gill, his 69th year of graduating from Benton Harbor High School. Benton Harbor High School class of 1950. He was number 23 in the class.
My aunt Ida, graduated in 1947 from Benton Harbor High School, still living today.
147 years old. We have a special guest in here. And I've seen her throughout, they came down from our State Board of Education. And I was looking today, and I saw her standing on behalf of literacy and the students in Detroit. This is the Vice President of the State of Michigan Board of Education. She's a Saginaw Trojan. And we used to tear them up on Cold Day. And Saginaw won a lot of state championships. But it made it hard when it came to 870 Cold Day. They was nervous to ring their bell. But we are so honored to have you here, to take time out of your busy schedule, to come and speak to our community. Without further ado, our Vice President of the Michigan State Board of Education, Vice President Tilly. Pam Pugh. All right,
And I'm not going to be before you long, because what I wanted to do is come and listen to the community, what anyone with sound mind who's in Lansing should want to do. And so I'm here fighting for you, I'm fighting with you, and as was said, I'm from Saginaw, I work in Flint, so it's Saginaw yesterday, Saginaw tomorrow, Flint today. There's always this attack on our black, brown, and low-income community. So I'm here with you, and I'm here to fight with you. I'll be here. And I think that Tiffany Tilly, one of our board members, wants to have some words. Good evening, Benton Harbor. Good evening. Good evening, Tigers. Go. When I was asked to come speak, I prepared a statement because I did not know if I would be here, because I am supposed to be on vacation right now. But as the young lady so eloquently said, Benton Harbor needs support, so I am here.
Okay. Thank you.
Taking the one and only high school out of the community is as violent and brutal as ripping a baby out of a mother's arms.
Come on.
A mother will go out of her way to help her child and protect her child. She will exhaust all resources. Benton Harbor has requested adequate resources from the state to help educate the children of this district. It is failing, and the state needs to take responsibility for its part. You cannot expect a world-class system from a system that does not get world-class funding. We have to balance our expectations. We cannot expect an electronic car to go another 20 miles when it's running out of power. We have to give it the power it needs to arrive at the intended destination. If we want our schools in low-income areas to do better, we have to do better with funding them.
That's right.
The way that we currently fund schools in Michigan under Proposal A is failing them. It still leaves holes in the bucket. Until the holes are filled, our schools will continue to decay, and our children, the children of this state, will continue to suffer. Declining enrollment has hit the community hard, as it has in so many communities across our state and our nation. Inadequate funding hurts our schools in numerous ways, especially those who are already suffering from the achievement gap. However, closing the doors of the high school will not repair the damage that has been done in this community or to these children. Uprooting them from their school and disseminating them to over half a dozen schools, mostly outside of this community, particularly in areas where they may face racial tension or discrimination. That will not help them. In fact, the emotional stress could cause irreparable damage. Our children deserve stability in an environment where they can thrive academically, emotionally, and socially. That is what we should focus on creating.
That's right.
The state has offered to eliminate most of the debt, but at what cost to the community? For too long, the state has intervened in the dismantling and destruction of education in poor minority communities. Emergency management and the failed EAA has caused grave damage to the Detroit public school system. Inkster public schools have been dismantled, and the community is still in upheaval from having to bus kids to neighboring communities, and the ramifications. Highland Park has recently come out from under an emergency manager and is completely chartered. Muskegon Heights has been rattled down to the playgrounds. The stories of the damage done is synonymous. The definition of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So many of us hope that with the changing of the guard politically, we would see positive changes in the most vulnerable of communities. This is nothing more than emergency management and dictatorship. The community, leadership, and stakeholders should be at the table to help make decisions for its own future, for the future of the community they have to live in. The issues that have led up to Benton Harbor's current state are largely due to inequitable funding, but let's be honest, the current resolution offered by the state is a consistent theme throughout our school districts in Michigan that revolve around race and class. Let's be on the right side of history. Let's work together to build stronger schools and stronger communities, not dismantle them. I stand with Benton Harbor's leadership and school board and mayor, asking the governor, the Treasury Department, and our legislators to stop pouring water into a leaky bucket and fix the holes. Eliminate the debt so per pupil funding is going solely into the schools. Finally, make needed amendments to Proposal A, creating equitable funding and funding for infrastructure. Lastly, allow time for the leadership, which has not had autonomy since 2014, to turn all schools, K through 12, around under the partnership agreement that will soon be reinstated by the Michigan Department of Education.
Okay, now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Without further ado, the next person I'd like to introduce, and I'm so proud to have this opportunity. I was a 5th grade teacher at Martindale Elementary School, and the secretary came, school had started, and they said, you have a new student. Mind you, I already had 32 kids. Went to the door. This little boy was standing there, very shy. If you see Mustafa, you You see him.
Right.
He was just standing there looking. And they told me his name was Marcus Singer. I come on in, I knew his parents. So I was scared of him. Come on in, young man, come in and have a seat, you know, go through my little stuff, like make my room so top. He was just like, God, where am I? We were taking the 712 mathematics examination back then. 7 days on particular skills, the initial test, get the data back, and then take the post test. He took the first one. He made me look good. When he took the post test, it was 100%. I could always count on Marcus Singer, making my record look really, really good. Just as humble and kind. And I saw him. I had the opportunity. People think I was just a Tiger, working with the cheerleaders, but I coached Marcus in basketball. And we were undefeated. Stern Bronson, there's people in here still angry about it. But that particular year, Marcus and them lost 2 games. They were the 6th grade. I was the 6th grade coach. And if you lost 2 games at Bard, that was a losing season. At Bard and Stern Bronson. So I told Marcus, Corey Childs, they were my basketball team. I said, don't worry about it. Those kids over there, they had the minimal skills. Those kids are 13. Y'all gonna be the Tigers. Just keep your grade, because they were smart. So y'all gonna be Benton Harbor Tigers. Don't worry about that. And sure enough, they became the Benton Harbor Tigers.
Yes, they did.
Runners up to the state champions for 2 years, 92 and 93. Graduated from Benton Harbor High School in 1993. Left out of here, went to DePaul University, one of the most prestigious Catholic universities in this country.
Okay.
Graduated from DePaul University. Came back to his hometown.
Okay.
And went through a lot of stuff. But one thing I know is that our mayor loved Benton Harbor. And I'm very, very proud of you, Mayor Mohammed. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together and those of you all here students and just stand, would you please stand and give your Mayor of Benton Harbor, Mayor Mohammed.
Thank you, Mr. Tripplett. I'd like to thank everyone for coming on this strange but hot evening. And I do want to say it's going to get hotter.
Come on now.
And when I was on my way to Washington, D.C., because I wanted to eyeball Congressman Upton, as well as Senator Gary Peters.
Come on now.
And to bring to their attention that the jewel in the heart and soul of the city of Benton Harbor had been given a death sentence. And I did not see nor hear the kind of compassion that I would have liked to see. The term alma mater, the root M-A-T-R, is Latin. But when you bring it to English, it's mother.
Come on. Make it plain.
So an alma mater is your mother. And we all come from different circumstances, and mom had it hard. If your mother had it hard, raise your hand. Then bear witness what I'm asking.
Come on.
But at the end of the day, that's still my mama.
That's right. End of the day. Right. End of the day.
Alma means nourisher. But when you take somebody said the baby
from the mother. Especially before time, that's called an abortion. So I got a letter from the Treasury saying that Benton Harbor High School was in a crossroads. But I'm saying respectfully to Governor Whitmer, your administration is in a crossroads. From this chamber, I warned Governor Snyder that Public Act 4 would be a millstone around his administration, and he would go out of office in disgrace and shame. And Fortune magazine rated him the worst leader in the world. So you have genocide in Flint and apartheid in Benton Harbor. And what they call pure Michigan. Pure Michigan. I ain't gonna get no help. My basketball coach called me in the office and he said, Prentice, we got a problem. He said, because I looked at your voucher and you haven't purchased a book. But you got all B's.
All right.
So they wanted to maybe bring me up on charges of plagiarism or cheating. But after they investigated, they found out that, son, you had a sound education before you got it this way. And that was Benton Harbor High School.
Okay.
So that's just to lay a little base. They talked about data.
Come on now. From where? Make it plain.
Figures don't lie. But liars can figure.
That's right. Repeat.
And they have manipulated the data.
Come on now.
They skewed it.
Come on now.
At one time, the data stated you was 3/5 of a human being. At one time, they used to have a big jelly bean jar. My granddaddy told me from Mississippi. And he said when they would get to the voting, they would ask them, how many jelly beans is in this jar? And if he did not get the answer or pass the test, Mr. Macon, I'm sorry, but you did not pass the voting test. So we know your history of your standardized testing. Just to make a couple more points, I want to stay within the realm of the office.
We'll forgive you.
And they say in the I should have said this at first. In the Congress, there's a practice that they say I adopt the statements of the previous speaker. And I want to say I adopt the statements of the previous speakers. Because we stand here in unity. 55 years, or 64 years, 1555 to 1619, they told you came here in 1619.
But it was 64 years. You heard that $64 million question. That's when they took the children from the parents. Killed them off. Because one missing factor in this is not just a land grab, this is a job grab. Because if millions of dollars, already 19 million is going out of Benton Harbor from school of choice. But if you shut down the high school, then many jobs will be lost.
That's right.
Not just teachers.
Support staff. Yes, sir.
Support staff,
Yeah.
custodial,
That's right.
security, bus drivers,
Kitchen.
kitchen. Don't forget the kitchen. And now, and like the state told me that dollars, and I said, you're going to treat our students like refugees? She said, well, it ain't a refugee. Dollars go with each head. I said, is that what this is about? So you're going to take the 40 acres and the million. The 40 acres is the high school. Sitting on 625 acres of riverfront property. That Andrews University did a study and went all over the world. And they said the port in the harbor in the city of Benton Harbor is one of the most unusual and most precious riverfront properties in the world. The mule is the unlearned, which is the Pugh. So you go, now I'm not the 175 acres vice president.
Yes, sir.
On Hillendale Road. How many have seen that?
Yes, sir. Beautiful property.
The most beautiful farmland out in the township. Owned by Benton Harbor. So if you shut it down and it goes charter, then now they can sell the property off to quote unquote pay off the debt.
Make it plain.
So I'm going to put a pin in this. Governor Whitmer.
Hands off. Speak to her. Okay. Hands off. They took our beach.
I didn't expect a third term of Rick Snyder.
Whoa.
That's right.
I didn't think that she was going to perpetuate a third term of what the self-proclaimed one tough nerve. As it relates to urban policies. So in closing, I know, when I spoke in Jackson Prison, I spoke in right by Grand Rapids. Where was we at, Brother Sultan? Ionia. Somebody help me in here. Wasn't nothing but black men. And the two most popular places was Detroit and Benton Harbor.
Yes, sir.
And as I was trying to leave, some of them was coming to me saying, man, tell my family I'm all right. Tell my baby I love her. But the pipeline to prison is set up by dispersion.
Come on now.
So I want to read something from Dr. King.
Read it now.
Because once I go to war,
Come on now, Mr. Mayor.
like you said, Pastor Bullock, Benton Harbor,
Come on.
don't try to pull me off.
Yes, sir.
because I may start dealing with you. When they put their gun down, we put ours down. And the gun is not a weapon, the gun is a ballot and the truth. So we ain't, let me just get to Dr. King. He said, we don't have to argue with nobody. We don't have to curse and go around acting bad with our words.
Come on.
We don't need a Molotov cocktail.
Well.
I'm not encouraging you to go drink one. That was me. He said we just need to go around to these stores and to these massive industries in our country and say, God sent us by here to say to you that you're not treating his children right.
That's all you got to say.
He goes on to say eloquently, and we've come by here to ask you to make the first item on your agenda fair treatment, where God's children are concerned. Now, if you are not prepared to do that, we do have an agenda that we must follow. And our agenda calls for withdrawing economic support from you. And he said, and he coined that, redistribute the pain. So I'm saying it from the chambers. Because some ask, what's have it outside? Let's go have it over here. We're going to speak from the people's house, which is the city. I want to see development. I want to see the 625 acres. I want to see the commercial tax base increase. I want to see the new housing stock coming up so our professionals can come home and work in their community.
That's right. That's right.
Because with the tax base increasing, then that means more money for the what? Schools. Schools. But if you take the school off the agenda, then don't even bring it to my table. No other agenda. So we're going to redistribute the pain. And I know money talks. And when they threaten Gilbert now, because they wanted a different insurance policy. And the people in Detroit, they wanted the red line aspect taken out. Well, they can charge based on zip code. But Gilbert played politics with the Republican legislator and cut a deal with Whitmer, and she signed the legislation with that. And we didn't get nothing from it. So like FDR told A. Philip Randolph, he said, I agree with everything you say. He said, but Philip, go out and make me do it. So if we got to take 10,000 to Lansing,
Let's go. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Hands up.
Who ready to go to Lansing? Because if you don't shut us down, the Million Man March on a Monday shut down the Supreme Court.
Okay.
Shut down the House, shut down the Senate, and the president got out of town. When black men, supported by our women, stood up. So media, if you need a headline, let them know it's on. I'm allowed to close in prayer. I do want to recognize you. And you are a guest. I grew up in Church of God in Christ. You don't preach after the preacher, but I'm going to allow you to speak.
Give it up for your strong mayor. I'm State Representative Isaac Robinson from 12th Street, Grand River, District 4, Detroit. And Reverend Bullock told me about this, Sister Seeks told me about this, and Al Williams, and I'm here. I'm not up in Mackinac. I'm up here standing with the people of Benton Harbor. And let me tell you something. Governor Whitmer, if you're worried about those darn roads, you better worry about Benton Harbor because we got your back.
And the last voice you will hear is Pastor Gulley, who is the president. He got saved under a coaching voice, but the president of the Ministerial Alliance of Southwest Michigan.
I want to say to Benton Harbor, I graduated from Benton Harbor 52 years ago. I had a track record. I'm a real Tiger. I lettered in 3 different sports. Yes, you did. I went away, became a soldier, and was a Vietnam veteran during 1968 tech offense. Most horrific time of the war. As a kid, came back alive, but dead in my principles and ways. I left part of me in Vietnam. I came back and entered the ministry, and I tried to pastor in Dallas 3 different churches, and the Lord said, go back to Benton Harbor. I never knew that I would end up being a leader of leaders in this city. I'm a product of Benton Harbor High School. I am a real Tiger. I'm a real Tiger. And before I pray, I would ask that for a show of unity, because we're going to need to not just shout and holler and scream. We're going to need to put our feet on the pavement. And we need to put our votes in the ballot box. And we need to not only just pray. I'm a warrior. I mean, y'all looking at me like I'm funny, but I'm a real warrior. See, I was in war when some situations I'm in made most people pee in their pants. But I survived that. And I'm not saying that arrogantly. I'm saying I know how to war. On tomorrow at 3, there'll be a press conference with the ministers, and we're all standing in solidarity. And I just want you to know we're not against Benton Harbor. We're for them. They're going to have to hear us. So we're getting ready to pray. Every head bowed, every eye closed. Let's join hands together, if you can, a show of unity. Touch somebody. Let's touch a show of unity. Touch somebody. Touch somebody. Touch somebody. Touch somebody. Eternal God, this is your servant. I've called you before and seen cancer healed. I've called you and seen demons come out of folk. I've called you, Lord, before, and when people came against me, you stopped them. And you're the same God that heard me before. So I'm calling you for the city of Benton Harbor and for our school district. God, I not only call you as a member of this community, but as your child, your servant. Honor my prayer. Deliver our schools and our children. They need you. There's a time, oh God, for us to come back to you. Lead them back to you. And then give them the miracle. Cover our mayor with divine protection. Hitmans, demons, nothing can come to him. I come against every curse in the name of Jesus. I decree right now deliverance for our city. Peace for everyone that leave this place. An agenda now before us. Give us the miracle in the name of Jesus. And the people of God said,